Hello, David Klecker here. I am the creator of AutoHARP3. When it comes to vehicle combat, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create a campaign file for your vehicle, or for this combat that you're going to be initiating. And let me show you what that campaign file is going to look like. So let me go ahead and I'm going to open up the campaign file that I've created earlier ahead of time here. So pop this thing open and show it to you. So for a vehicle combat, you're going to want to have vehicles, obviously, but also you're going to want to have the characters that go with those vehicles. Now it seems obvious, right? Well, the thing is that with vehicles, you can create a vehicle with a crew that doesn't have a character sheet associated with it. For example, I can create Bobby and Alex, Tanny and Mazik, but I don't need a character sheet that goes with it. I can just give them, I can just type in the values for their attack, direct fire weapon, attack, indirect fire weapon, all of that stuff. I can just type all of that in. With the character sheets, it gives you the full values for all of for that entire crew member. So you can, not just get the attack, but maybe they're piloting everything. You can get the whole works. So you don't have to worry about typing in every possibility. It helps with being able to use the vehicle combat to its fullest. So now that we've got this campaign file created, I'm going to go ahead and go to Tools, open Vehicle Combat, and now we're ready to initiate our vehicle combat here. Just like in a regular combat setting, we're going to go ahead and click on this play button, and it's going to bring up, instead of like players this time, but it's going to bring up the vehicles. Now in the vehicles we have the crew. And it will be the crew that is going to go, it's going to have the initiative bonuses. So which crew member is going to go first, and so therefore that means that particular vehicle is then going to be the first to either initiate attacks on the other vehicle. So we do have the vehicles themselves are going to have bonuses that are associated with the vehicles themselves, but we're also going to have the actions of each of the individuals within that vehicle. So within the Rossi, we have Bobby and Alex. Bobby is doing all of the attacks. Alex is doing all the flying. There are initiative settings. If you want to, scroll through those initiatives, you can go ahead and do that. If you find initiatives that you think are going to be useful, you can go ahead and click on them, and you can press the control button to click on more than one, and it will update your initiative bonus. Or you can just put in an initiative bonus that you feel is the correct one. If you have more than one action for a character, you can go ahead and add that action. For example, let's say with Alex, he has the ability to pilot and do electronic warfare. I have him piloting right now. I'm going to go ahead and click on Add Action, and I'm going to select Electronic Warfare. And then I'm going to go ahead and say that he's got 50% for both. Now I can eliminate an action by just clicking on this X button. I can eliminate a player or a crew member. If that crew member has been killed in action, I can go ahead and just delete him from the initiative window here. Same thing with victory. I'm going to make sure that I have the actions that I want for each one of these crew members. And then I'm going to go ahead and roll initiatives. And then now I'm going to click on Finished, and we're going to go to the first phase. So as you see here, we have the ability to roll maneuvers for each of the actions that my crew member is going to be taking within the vehicle. And those actions are going to determine whether or not my vehicle gets a OB bonus, a DB bonus, and or a electronic warfare bonus. So to do that, we're now going to roll on Bobby's maneuver to get ready to attack, to lock on to the vehicle that she's attacking and all of that stuff. So it's going to go ahead and roll maneuver. And if this bonus is a positive, so right now it's a -5, I just barely missed it. I could go ahead and apply that OB to my vehicle, but I just barely missed it. But let's say, for example, that I rolled a 75, and that's going to give me a +5 bonus. So I can go ahead and apply that OB to my vehicle. Same thing with Alex. He's going to roll a maneuver on piloting, and he just barely missed it. But let's say that he did in fact get a high enough number. Let's give him a 73. He was higher than that, obviously. So higher than 84, I guess. So we'll give him let's say he rolled a 94 in piloting. I can apply that +5 to his DB. And then with electronic warfare, now he hasn't rolled for electronic warfare yet. He's just rolled for piloting. So for him to roll for electronic warfare, I'm going to go ahead and click on this button right here, and that's going to allow me to roll on the electronic warfare. I don't want a 94, but I'm going to have him roll. Now, what you saw was me just putting a 0 in the roll, and it lets the computer roll. But if he rolled and you want to type it in, by all means, you can go ahead. Now, with a 77, that doesn't work. I don't have a bonus in that for that maneuver, so I'm going to basically say that he did not initiate, or he did not get a high enough bonus to have a electronic warfare bonus for the vehicle. I'm going to do the same thing for victory. Roll maneuvers here. Tanny did very well, got a good bonus, so I'm going to apply that to the vehicle. Same thing with Mazek, he's got a good bonus. I'm going to apply that also to the vehicle for DB. So we have the Rossi's got an OB of 5 and a DB of 5 for this round, and the Victory's got an OB of 30 and a DB of 10 for this round. So we're done with the first phase. We'll move on to the firing phase. The card that we see here is the card for the Rossi. So when I bring up the card for the Victory, it's going to show up here in the middle here. I haven't really targeted anything. I haven't really selected a weapon or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. I'm going to select the linked array. And then we have the Victory. So we're going to go ahead and select that and bring that up here in the middle. Another couple of things that we can do here that you've noticed is that there's all of these cogwheels that are located on this card. So for example, this cogwheel located next to the Rossi. If I click on that, I'll be brought to the page for the Rossi, the vehicle template here, and I can go ahead and make any changes that I want to this character sheet. Click on back to vehicle combat, it'll bring me right back to the vehicle combat. If I clicked on Bobby, it will bring me to this character sheet as well, and I can make any changes that I want, and then I can just go ahead and go back to open vehicle combat, and it will bring me right back to the combat itself, this combat screen itself. If I wanted to change the status of the vehicle, I can go ahead and click on that, and it will allow me to make any changes to any systems that have been damaged, any malfunction descriptions. Maybe somebody has fixed it, so therefore I can go ahead and delete it. But as we have just started, all systems are clear on both of my vehicles. I can do the same thing with Victory. I can go to its character sheet, and I can even change its status. So this is going to be Bobby. She's going to be firing on the Victory. I'm going to use that linked array that I created with the vehicle. I've selected Victory for the foe, and the critical type is a laser critical type. The weapon OB of the vehicle is a 30. That was set in the vehicle character sheet itself. We'll say that the Victory is 100 kilometers away. There is a regular OB modifier of 5, but if you have any additional modifiers, you can go ahead and put them there. We're going to go ahead and roll my attack. It says that I landed 23 hits, and there is a system that was hit. It's the crew module of the Victory. I can go ahead and put my mouse over on this, and it'll flip the card over. It tells me all of the details of this attack. It can even allow me to click on the malfunction button here, and I can go ahead and make changes. And it looks like the airlock has malfunctioned. Well, that's not really going to affect any of my attacks. It's not going to really affect any of my bonuses, but if anybody needs to escape, I don't think that that's going to be a possibility unless, you know, maybe there's a different airlock. It depends on what you want that to be. You can go ahead and, you know, decide as a GM, what do you want this airlock malfunctioning system damage to do for you during the vehicle combat. So let's go ahead and save changes. I'm done with the Rossi attacking the Victory, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Next. And it's going to bring up Alex with his piloting and his electronic warfare. I've already done all of that, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Next and move on to the next player. I believe I clicked on Next. Let's try it again. There we go. So now we've got Tanny. Well, that's right, because Alex has two actions. And so that next action, so that when I clicked on the next button, it was going to Alex's next action for that second action that I had Alex involved, that I made Alex have. So that electronic warfare action was the action that it was thinking that I was about ready to do. That's why it stayed with Alex twice. There we go. All right, so Tanny's now going to attack, and Tanny's going to attack the Rossi. I'm going to have Tanny attack with the Mark II linked array. I'm going to attack the Rossi. And this vehicle has a weapon OB of 29. It has an OB modifier of 30, so this might hurt a little bit because unless He's got a DB modifier, which isn't all that good. This is definitely going to, unless he rolls low, let's see how he rolls. 94 is pretty high. That's a 35 hits. Weapon system the weapon system was hit, so that's not good at all. So let's go ahead and just check out what exactly happened as my malfunction. Minus 30 to maneuver, so the Rossi is not looking good. So we can go ahead and save changes here. And I'm going to go ahead and click on next. We have the piloting for Mazik, but he's done all of that already, so I'm going to go to next player and click OK. And that's basically it. You're just going to be going back and forth, attacking each other, and there's only a couple of other things that I need to mention. So one thing I'm going to mention right now is, let's say that the Rossi is going to take a missile weapon action, and Bobby's going to fire a missile at the Victory. So I'm going to show you what missiles look like within vehicle combat. So I'm going to roll initiatives, and it's going to be the Mazik that's going to go first. Let me have Bobby go first. Let me just up their initiative bonus here to a 9, and I'm going to have her go first. Get that missile out there. So let's roll maneuvers. I'm just going to go ahead and roll them. I'm not going to spend too much time with any of this here. So nothing really is added to the vehicles. So we go ahead and click on firing phase. So now what Bobby's going to do, she's going to fire a space missile at the Victory. There is only one missile that's going to be fired. That's the salvo. The weapon bonus of this missile is going to be a 20. Let's say that the Victory is 100 kilometers away. I have a 16 bonus for signaling and a minus 25 for electronic warfare, but that doesn't matter because I'm not trying to dodge, or I'm not trying to block the missile. But this could be useful also for, maybe missile lock. But this signaling maneuver is going to be what's going to be used for that missile lock. So we're going to go ahead and see if I can get a signal lock, and I do. Signal lock success. So I'm going to go ahead and roll missile lock, and there we go. Now some would say that, well, why didn't I use the minus 30? Well, I probably should have used the minus 30, but it's a weapon system. Maybe this is a signaling, and that's not really part of the weapon system. GM's decision, GM's discretion, whatever. And anyway, that's a tutorial, so I'm just trying to show you how these things work. So we got Space Missile. It is now active. There is now a missile out there, and it is flying, and it's locked on the Victory, and it's going to hit that Victory in about 1 round. So how is this going to work? If I click on next player, and I move on to any character, any crew member that's on the Victory that's going to have an action that's ready to go, we have an incoming missile. And so you need to decide how you want to deal with this incoming missile that's going to hit you in just 1 round. So Mazik, who is my pilot, is going to try and dodge because he doesn't have any of the attack abilities. He has only the piloting abilities. He also has the electronic warfare, so he could jam, but his signaling modifier is a minus 25, but he does have a straight up modifier of 20, and that would give him a bonus of a minus 5, but he has a much better chance at dodging because he's got a modifier of 20 for that one as well. So let's go ahead and see if we can break the lock with dodging. So I'm going to go ahead and roll on this, and it tells me if I did or didn't, and it says that I failed to dodge or destroy. So missile is still locked on. I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next player, and that's going to be Tanny. Now Tanny has the ability to destroy this weapon, so I'm going to go ahead and say that she's going to try and destroy the incoming missiles. She's got a gunnery maneuver of 29. They are, let's say that the missile itself is about 65 kilometers away, and we're going to go ahead and say that this is it. So she's going to try to destroy the missiles with the main weapons. We click on this, and it didn't happen because that's what this says right here: failed to dodge or destroy incoming missiles. That's it. That was the last opportunity for them to have destroyed these missiles. We can go on to the Rossi attacking if we want to go ahead and do that. But the Rossi has already made the attack. Alex was the last one to go. So now we have, let's see, get rid of that action. We now have Bobby who's going to go back to directing firing missiles. Alex is going to continue to pilot. We're going to roll initiatives. And the next thing you're going to see is well, first of all, the first phase. So let me go through this. I forgot about the first phase. Alex is going to have a +5 to the vehicle for his good piloting maneuver. And that's all we got. So let's go to the next firing phase. We'll see that a missile has hit. and that's the missile that goes after that was going after the Victory, and so that has knocked out the vehicle's power system. And so we can see that now the Victory has two systems that are actually that have a problem. Now that power system doesn't look like it had any issues with it. Let's see what we've got. No penalties, but it was the microfusion generator. Unit damage minus 25 to maneuvers. Okay, so we should be at least anticipating a minus 25 to any sort of movement maneuver or whatever maneuver we'd like to apply that to. So it'll bring up all of the different malfunctions. So if you got more than one, you will see more than one listed there. So Bobby's going to go ahead and attack again with a linked array. Let's say the Victory is 85 kilometers away. Going to go ahead and roll our attack. It does hit with an additional 15. That is definitely more than 5. So when I click on next, the Victory is destroyed and the vehicle combat is over. If I have missed anything when it comes to vehicle combat, please let me know. Please put a comment below, and so that I can maybe recut this video, or I can maybe even answer that in the comments. Hopefully this has been a helpful tutorial, and thank you for purchasing AutoHARP3, and happy gaming.